Hey, Danny. Welcome back, Roxy. Welcome back, Ray. Hopefully everything's working now. We'll test it here in a second. Hey, Claire. Hello, hello. Hi, Danny. Hey, Amanda. Okay, we're checking to see if this works now. You're not here. Okay, Roxy's not here. Avery is here. Julia is here. Sloth is here. Christina is here. Amanda is here. Roxy's not here. That's what she said anyway. Jamie's here. The chair is here and making squeaking sounds, and I don't like it. Okay, great. You see it now. Okay. Roxy the ghost is visible. Everybody's visible. We're all chill. Becca's half here. Roll call. So, quick question before we get started. How does the Roxy ghost compare to the printer ghost? Because the printer ghost and I are having like an okay week. Usually the printer ghost and I are in a fight. I don't think so, Becca. I can't see her if she is. Right, well, if you're not here, you're Ghost Roxy, and we have Printer Ghost. Maybe Roxy Ghost can reason with Printer Ghost. Well, here's the thing, Claire. For the last 2 days since Becca's been here, the printer's been working. So, you know, I'm like okay with the printer ghost right now. We're buddies for the moment, but I'm wondering if when she leaves, it's gonna stop working. Yeah, right? You don't know about the printer ghost, Roxy? You know, Becca is the printer ghost. Ugh. No, they know HR is here. Yeah, that's right. They know that they could get fired. I still can't see some people's comments. Really? Really? Okay. Well, maybe the printer ghost accepted the 2 printer tributes of the printers that were left behind. That's funny. I'm choosing to believe that the printer knows that HR is here and that it could get fired. I can't see everyone. It must be a glitch on TikTok. Okay. Well, I'm reading all the things anyway, so if you're missing anything, well, the name of the ghost is Roxy. No, Roxy, you were saying you weren't here, so someone said that you were a ghost because you're here but you're not here. So there's you, the ghost, and the printer ghost, 2 separate ghosts. We have so many ghosts. You watched Catching Fire last night? Yes. What matters most is we can also, yeah, you can see me, you can hear me, and I will read. Guys, we're getting close. Maybe it heard Secret Aquatic Veil talking about Office Space. Yeah. Shape up or ship out. Yeah. Hey. You don't need to wake up. There's no need for that. There's no need for wakies. There's no need for wakies. Okay, we're reading chapter 21 right now. Hey, Sybil. Yeah, that's a good idea. Wait till the end. We're almost done, Jen. I mean, we'll be done by the weekend, right? I didn't know, Roxy, but that's funny. So we're on chapter 21, page 290. We are very close to the end, y'all. There are, how many pages? 380 pages, so we have about 100 pages left. And we do about 30 a day, so we're real close. Like 3.5, 4 days away, approximately, give or take, you know? Here we go. That makes 2 requests for PETA's death in less than an hour. Don't be ridiculous, says Jackson. I just murdered a member of our squad, says PETA. You pushed him off of you. You couldn't have known that he would trigger the net at that exact spot, says Finnick, trying to calm him. Who cares? He's dead, isn't he? Tears begin to run down PETA's face. I didn't know. I've never seen myself like that before. Katniss is right. I'm a monster. I'm the mutt. I'm the one that Snow has turned into a weapon. Oh, yeah. In case anybody can't see it, Claire said I'm excited for the new books. I haven't read them. Guys, the new books are so good. Like, if you think these books are good, she just gets better with age. The writer, I mean. So, like, I can't wait to read the next ones with you all. It's not your fault, PETA, says Finnick. You can't take me with you. It's only a matter of time before I kill someone else. PETA looks around at our conflicted faces. Maybe you think it's just kinder to dump me somewhere, let me take my chances, but that's the same thing as handing me back over to the Capitol. Do you think you would be doing me a favor by sending me back to Snow? PETA, back in Snow's hands, tortured, tormented until no bits of his former self will ever reemerge again? For some reason, the last stanza to the hanging tree starts running through my head. The one where the man wants his lover dead, rather than have her face the evils that await her in the world. Are you coming to the tree? Wear a necklace of rope side by side with me. Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met up at midnight in the hanging tree. Well, I'll kill you before that happens, says Gale. I promise. Peeta hesitates as if to consider the reliability of this offer, and then he shakes his head. No, it's no good. What if you're not there to do it? I want one of those poison pills like the rest of you have. Nightlock. There's one pill back at camp, and it's in the special slot on the sleeve of my Mockingjay suit, but there's another one in the breast pocket of my uniform. Interesting that they didn't give one to Peeta. Perhaps Coin thought that he might take it before he had the opportunity to kill me. It's unclear if Peeta means to finish himself off now to spare us having to murder him, or only if the capital takes him prisoner again. In the state that he's in, I expect that it would be sooner rather than later. It would certainly make things easier on the rest of us not to have to shoot him. It would certainly simplify the problem of dealing with his homicidal escapades. I don't know if it's the pods or the fear or watching Boggs die, but I feel the arena all around me. It's as if I never really left, and once again I'm battling not only for my own survival, but for Peeta's as well. How satisfying, how entertaining would it be for Snow to have him kill me? To have Peeta's death on my conscience for whatever is left of my life. It's not about you, I say. We're on a mission, and you're necessary to it. I look to the rest of the group. You think we might find some food here? Besides the medical kits and the cameras, we have nothing but our uniforms and our weapons. Half of us stay to guard Peeta or keep an eye out for Snow's broadcast, while the others hunt for something to eat. Masala proves most valuable because he lives near a replica of this apartment and knows where they would most likely stash food. Like how there's a storage space concealed by a mirrored panel in the bedroom, or how easy it is to pop out the ventilation screen in the hallway. So even though the kitchen cupboards are bare, we find over 30 canned goods and several boxes of cookies. The hoarding disgusts the soldiers raised in 13. Isn't this illegal? Says League 1. On the contrary, in the capital you'd be considered stupid not to do this, says Masala. Even before the quarter quell, people started stocking up on scarce supplies, while others went totally without, says League 1. Right, says Masala. That's how it works here. All right, fortunately, or we wouldn't have dinner, right, says Gale. Everybody grab a can. Some of our company seems reluctant to do this, but it's as good a method as any. I'm not really in the mood to divvy everything up to an equal 11 parts, factoring in age, body weight, physical output. I poke around the pile and about to settle on some cod chowder when Peeta holds out a can to me. Here. I take it, not knowing what to expect, but the label reads, lamb stew. I press my lips together at the memories of rain dripping through the stones and my inept attempt at flirting and the aroma of my favorite capital dish in the chilly air. So some part of it must still be in his head too. How happy, how hungry, how close we were when that picnic basket arrived outside our cave. Thanks. I pop open the top. It even has dried plums. I bend the lid and I use it as a makeshift spoon, scooping bits of it into my mouth, and now this place tastes like the arena too. We're passing around a box of fancy cream-filled cookies when the beeping starts again. The seal of Panem lights up on the screen, and the remains are there while the anthem plays. It remains there while the anthem plays. And then they begin to show the images of the dead, just as they did with the tributes in the arena. They start with the four faces of our television crew, followed by Boggs, Gale, Finnick, Peeta, and me. Except for Boggs, they don't bother with the soldiers from 13, either because they have no idea who they are or because they know they won't mean anything to the audience. And then the man himself appears, seated at his desk, a flag draped behind him, the fresh white rose gleaming in his lapel, and I think he might have recently had more work done because his lips are puffier than usual. And his prep team really needs to use a lighter hand with his blush. Gosh, I gotta pause for a second and tell you guys something. These books were written before a certain person who overdoes their makeup was in power in our country. And yet, the similarities are so incredibly striking. It's almost like she had a premonition. It's weird, right? Because she couldn't have known. This was written, almost an entire, maybe was published at least a decade before, well, almost a decade before. The way I explain it, I'm doing it my best, Avery, to skirt around the TikTok stuff, you know what I mean? Because I don't want it to trigger anyone. Like, if I say certain words, certain people get, this put on their For You page, and I don't want them here. But she for sure had it, because if it was published in 2008, the first book, and that means it was probably written at least in 2006, right? So 10 years before 2016. Yeah, she could have seen the behavior. It does summon them, Claire. It really does. That's why I did that. Did you see how I was like, I'm not going to say the T word? Snow congratulates the peacekeepers on a masterful job and honors them for ridding the country of a menace that he calls the Mockingjay. With my death, he predicts a turning of the tide in the war, since the demoralized rebels have no one left to follow. And what was I really? A poor, unstable girl with small talent of a bow and arrow, not a great thinker, not the mastermind of a rebellion, merely a face plucked from the rabble because I caught the nation's attention with my antics in the games. Yeah, tyrant. That's exactly right. Tyrant. But necessary, so very necessary, because the rebels have no real leader among them. Somewhere in District 13, Beatty hits a switch, because now it's not President Snow, but President Coin who's looking at us. She introduces herself to Panem, identifies herself as the head of the rebellion, and then gives my eulogy. Praise for the girl who survived the Seam and the Hunger Games, and then turned a country of slaves into an army of freedom fighters. You totally did, right? Dead or alive, Katniss Everdeen will remain the face of this rebellion. If ever you waver in your resolve, think of the Mockingjay, and in her you will find the strength you need to rid Panem of its oppressors. I had no idea how much I meant to her, I say, which brings a laugh from Gale and questioning looks from the others. Up comes a heavily doctored photo of me, looking beautiful and fierce, with a bunch of flames flickering behind me. No words, no slogan. My face is all they need now. Beatty gives the reins back to a very controlled Snow. I have a feeling that the president thought the emergency channel was unpenetrable, and someone will end up dead tonight, because it was indeed breached. Tomorrow morning, when we pull Katniss Everdeen's body from the ashes, we will see exactly who the Mockingjay is. A dead girl who could save no one, not even herself. Seal, anthem, out. Except you won't find her, says Finnick to the empty screen, voicing what we were probably all thinking. The grace period will be brief. Once they dig through those ashes and come up with the 11 bodies missing, they'll know that we escaped. We can get a head start on them at least, I say, and suddenly I'm so tired. All I want to do is lie down on a nearby green plush sofa and go to sleep. I want to cocoon myself in a comforter made of rabbit fur and goose down, but instead I pull out the holo and I insist that Jackson talk me through the most basic commands, which are really about engineering coordinates of the nearest map grid intersection so that I can at least begin to operate this thing myself. As the holo projects our surroundings, I feel my heart sink even further. We must be moving closer to the crucial targets, because the number of pods has noticeably increased. How can we possibly move forward into this bouquet of blinking lights without detection? We can't. And if we can't, we're trapped like birds in a nest. I decide it's best not to Apparently I cannot read it all today. I'm gonna get a sip of coffee and see if that helps. Okay. Let's try that again. I know, right? That's crazy. We can't, and if we can't, we're trapped like birds in a net. I decided it's best not to adopt some sort of superior attitude when I'm with these people, especially when my eyes keep drifting to that same green sofa, so I say, any ideas? No, Becca. Well, why don't we start by ruling out possibilities, says Finnick. The street is not a possibility. The rooftops are just as bad as the street, says League One. We might have a chance to go to withdrawal, like go back the way we came, says Holmes. That would mean a failed mission, though. A pang of guilt hits me since I've fabricated this mission. It was never intended to be all of us going forward. You just had the misfortune of being with me, I say. Well, that's a moot point. We're here with you now, says Jackson, so we can either stay put, we can't move up, we can't move laterally, so I think that just leaves one option. Underground, says Gale. Underground, which I hate, like mines and tunnels and 13. Underground, where I dread dying, which is stupid, because even if I die above ground, the next thing they'll do is bury me underground anyway. The hollow can show subterranean as well as street-level pods. I see that when we go underground, the clean, dependable lines of the street plan are interlaced with a twisting, turning mess of tunnels. The pod looks less numerous, though. 2 doors down, a vertical tube connects our row of apartments to tunnels. To reach the tube apartment, we will need to squeeze through a maintenance shaft that runs the length of the building. We can enter the shaft through the back of the closet on the upper floor. All right, then, let's make it look like we've never been here, I say. We erase all signs of our stay. We send the empty cans down the trash chute. We pocket the full ones for later. We flip sofa cushions smeared with blood, and we wipe traces of gel from the tiles. There's no fixing the latch on the front door, but we lock the second bolt, which will at least keep the door from swinging open on contact. Finally, there's only Peter to contend with. He plants himself on the blue sofa, refusing to budge. I'm not going. Either I'll disclose your position or I'll hurt someone else. Snow's people will find you here, says Finnick. Then leave me with a pill. I'll only take it if I have to, says Peter. That's not an option. Come on, says Jackson. Or what? You'll shoot me, says Peter. We'll knock you out and we'll drag you with us, says Holmes, which will both slow us down and endanger us. Stop being noble. I don't care if I die. He turns to me pleading now. Katniss, please, don't you see that I just want to be out of this? The trouble is I do see. Why I can't just let him go, I don't know. I should just slip him a pill or pull the trigger. Is it because I care too much about Peeta or too much about letting Snow win? Have I turned him into a piece in my private games? That's despicable, but I'm not sure it's beneath me. If it's true, it would be kindest to kill Peeta here and now, but for better or worse, I am not motivated by kindness. We're wasting time. Are you volunteering to come, or do we have to knock you out? Peeta buries his face in his hands for a few moments, and then he rises to join us. Should we free his hands? Asks League One. No, Peeta growls, drawing his cuffs in close to his body. No, I echo, but I want the key. Jackson passes it over without a word, and I slip it into my pants pocket where it clicks against the pearl. When Holmes pries open the small metal door to the maintenance shaft, we encounter another problem. There's no way the insect shells will be able to fit through the narrow passage. Castor and Pollux remove them and detach emergency backup cameras. Each is the size of a shoebox and probably works just about as well. Masala can't think of anywhere better to hide the bulky shells, so we end up dumping them in the closet. Leaving such an easy trail to follow frustrates me. But what else can we do? Even going single file, our packs and our gear have to go to the side. Sorry. I'm so sorry, you guys. Even going in single file, holding our packs and gear out to the side, it's a tight fit. We sidestep our way past the first apartment and break into the second. In this apartment, one of the bedrooms has a door marked utility instead of bathroom. Behind the door is a room with the entrance to the tube. Masala frowns with a wide circular cover and for a moment returning to his own fussy world. Why? It's why no one ever wants the center unit in a home. Workmen coming and going whenever, no second bathroom, but its rent is considerably cheaper. And when he notices that Finnick is amused, he adds, never mind. The tube cover is simple to unlatch. A wide ladder with a it's just outrageous. The tube cover simple to unlatch. A wide ladder with rubber treads on the steps allows for a swift, easy descent into the bowels of the city. We gathered at the foot of the ladder, waiting for our eyes to adjust to the dim strips of light, breathing in the mixture of chemicals, mildew, and sewage. Pollux, pale and sweaty, reaches out and latches something to Castor's wrist, like he might fall over if there isn't something to steady him. My brother worked down here after he became an Avox, says Castor. Of course, who else would they get to maintain these dank, evil-smelling passages mined with pods? Took 5 years before we were able to buy his way up to ground level. He didn't see sun once back then. Under better conditions, on a day with fewer horrors and more rest, someone would certainly know what to say. Instead, we all stand there for a long time trying to formulate a response. Finally, Peeta turns to Pollux. Well, then you just became our most valuable asset. Castor laughs and Pollux manages a smile. We're halfway down the first tunnel when I realize what was so remarkable about that exchange. Peeta sounded like his old self then, the one who could always think of the right thing to say when nobody else could. Ironic, encouraging, a little funny, but not at anyone's expense. I glance back at him as he trudges along under his guards, Gale and Jackson, his eyes fixed on the ground, his shoulders hunched forward, so dispirited. But for a moment, he really was there. Hey, Naisa. Hey, Isabella. Peeta called it right. Pollux turns out to be worth 10 hollows. There's a simple network of wide tunnels that directly corresponds to the main street plan above, underlying the major avenues and cross streets. Quick, say something that's been filtered before. Me? Like, gloves. What, I don't know. What, Jesus. Oh, not me. Oops. Sorry, guys. I mean, you know. You see the clowns now, yeah. Yeah, okay. But for a moment, he really was there. Okay. It's called the transfer, since small trucks use it to deliver goods around the city. During the days, its many pods are deactivated, but at night, it's a minefield. However, hundreds of additional passages, utility shafts, train tracks, and drainage tubes form a multi-level maze. Pollux knows the details that would lead to a disaster for a newcomer, like which offshoot might require a gas mask, or have live wires, or rats the size of beavers. He alerts us to the gush of water that sweeps through the sewers periodically and anticipates the time that Avoxes will be changing shifts, leading us into a damp, obscure pipe area to dodge the nearly silent passage of cargo trains. Most importantly, he has knowledge of the cameras. There aren't many down here in this gloomy, misty place except in the transfer, but we keep well out of their way. Under Pollux's guidance, we make good time, remarkable time if you compare it to our above-ground travel. After about 6 hours, fatigue takes over. It's 3 in the morning, so I figure that we still have a few hours before our bodies are discovered as missing. They search through the rubble of the whole block of apartments in case we tried to escape through the shafts, and they begin their hunt. When I suggest we rest, no one objects. Pollux finds a small, warm room humming with machines, loaded with levers and dials. He holds up his fingers to indicate that we must be gone in 4 hours. Jackson works out a guard schedule, and since I'm not on the first shift, I wedge myself into a tight space between Gale and League One, and I go right to sleep. It seems only like 10 minutes later when Jackson shakes me awake and tells me that I'm on watch next. It's 6 o'clock, and in 1 hour we must be on our way. Jackson tells me to eat a can of food and keep an eye on Pollux, who insists on being on guard the entire night. He can't sleep down here. I drag myself into a state of relative alertness, and I eat a can of potato and bean stew, and I sit against the wall facing the door. Pollux seems wide awake. You have a whole bunch of options now? That's pretty cool. He's probably been reliving those 5 years of imprisonment all night. I get out the holo and I manage to input our grid coordinates and scan the tunnels. As expected, more pods are registering the closer we move toward the center of the capital. For a while, Pollux and I click around on the holo, seeing what traps lie where. When my head begins to spin, I hand it over to him and lean back against the wall. I look down at the sleeping soldiers, the crew, and friends, and I wonder how many of us will ever see the sun again. When my eyes fall on Peta, whose head rests right by my feet, I see that he's awake. I wish that I could read what was going on in his mind, that I could go in and untangle the mess of lies, and then I settle for something that I can accomplish. Have you eaten? I ask. A slight shake of his head indicates that he hasn't. I open a can of chicken and rice soup and I hand it to him, keeping the lid on in case he tries to slit his wrists or something awful like that. He sits up and he tilts the can, chugging back the soup without really bothering to chew it. The bottom of the can reflects the lights from the machines, and I remember something has been itching at the back of my mind since yesterday. Peta, when you asked about what happened to Darius and Lavinia and Boggs told you it was real, you said you thought so, because there was nothing shiny about it? What did you mean by that? Oh, I really don't know exactly how to explain it, he tells me. In the beginning, everything was just complete confusion. Now I can sort things out. There's like a pattern emerging. Memories that they alter with the Tracker Jacker venom have this strange quality about them, like they're too intense or their images aren't stable. You remember what it was like when we were stung? Trees shattered. There were giant colorful butterflies. I felt a pit of orange bubbles, and then I think about it more. Shiny orange bubbles. Right. But nothing about Darius or Lavinia was like that. I don't think that they've given me any venom yet on that, he says. Well, that's good, isn't it? I ask. If you can separate the two of them, then you can figure out what's true. Yeah, and if I could grow wings, I could fly. Only people can't grow wings, he says. Real or not real? Real, I say. But people don't need wings to survive. Mockingjays do. He finishes the soup, and then he returns the can to me. In the fluorescent light, the circles under his eyes look like bruises. There's still time. You should sleep. Unresting, he lies back down, but just stares at the needle on one of the dials as it twitches from side to side. Slowly, as I would with a wounded animal, my hand stretches out and brushes the waves of his hair from his forehead. He freezes at my touch, but he doesn't recoil. So I continue to gently smooth back his hair. It's the first time that I have voluntarily touched him since the last arena. You're still trying to protect me. Real or not real, he whispers. Real, I answer. It seems to require more explanation, though, because that's what you and I do, Peta. We protect each other. And after a minute or so, he drifts off to sleep. Shortly before 7, Pollux and I move among the others, rousing them. There are the usual yawns, the sighs that accompany waking, but my ears are picking up something else too, almost like a hissing. Perhaps it's only steam escaping a pipe or a far-off whoosh of one of the trains. I hush the group to get a better read on it. There's a hissing, yes, but it's not one extended sound. It's more like multiple exhalations that form words, a single word, echoing through the tunnels. One word, one name, over and over and over again. Katniss. Dun dun dun. It's whispering her name. What time is it? I think we have time for a little more. It would freak me the F out. It would freak me the F out. It's so creepy. Oh, hi. You don't have to wake up. You can stay asleep. You can stay asleep. Yeah, you totally can, Amanda. I trust you guys. You want out? You want out? You want out, my angel? Hi, Drooly Pants. Hi, Drooly Pants. Hi, Drooly. Hi, Drooly. I know, she's the snuggliest. She's the snuggliest. So snuggles. So snuggles. But a very awake Snuggles right now. You can go back to sleep, honey. Yes, you can. Still filtered? Huh. Weird. Do you want to go in your bouncy? You want to go in your bouncy? Yeah? Wee! Wee! You need this under your chin because you're so drooly. There you go. There you go. All right. Let us read the next chapter. We are now on chapter 22, Drooly Pants, page 304. The grace period has ended. Perhaps snow had them digging away through the night. As soon as the fire died down, anyway, they found Boggs's remains, briefly felt reassured, and then as the hours went by, without further trophies, they began to suspect. And at some point, they realized that they had been tricked. President Snow can't tolerate being made to look like a fool. It doesn't matter whether they track us to the second apartment or assumed we went directly underground. I'll upload it, Susan, don't worry. They know that we're down here now, and they've unleashed something, a pack of mutts probably, bent on finding me. Katniss! I jump at the proximity of the sound, and I look frantically for its source, bow loaded, seeking a target to hit. Katniss! Peeta's lips are barely moving, but there's no doubt that the name came out of him. Just when I thought he seemed a little better, when I thought he might be inching his way back to me, there's proof of how deep Snow's poison went. Katniss! Peeta's programmed to respond to the hissing chorus and join in the hunt. He's beginning to stir. There's no choice. I position my arrow to penetrate his brain. He'll barely feel a thing, and suddenly he's sitting up, eyes wide in alarm, short of breath. Katniss! He whips his head towards me, but he doesn't seem to notice the bow. He's waiting now with the arrow. Katniss, you've got to get out of here. I hesitate. His voice is alarmed, but not insane. Why? What's making that sound? I ask. I don't know. Only I know that it has to kill you. Peeta says, run. Get out. After my own moment of confusion, I conclude that I do not have to shoot him. So I relax my bowstring and I take in the anxious faces around me. Whatever it is, it's after me. It might be a good time to split up. But we're your guard, says Jackson. And your crew, says Cressida. And I'm not leaving you, says Gale. I look at the crew armed with nothing but cameras and clipboards, and then there's Finnick with 2 guns and a trident, and I suggest he give one of his guns to Castor, eject the blank cartridge from Peeta's, and load it with a real one and arm Pollux. Since Gale and I have our bows, we hand our guns over to Masala and Cressida. There's no time to show them anything but how to point and pull the trigger, but in close quarters, that might be enough. It's better than being defenseless anyway. Now, with only one weapon, the only one without a weapon is Peeta, but anyone whispering my name with a bunch of mutts doesn't need a weapon anyway. We leave the room free of everything but our scent. There's no way to erase that at the moment. I'm guessing that's how the hissing things are tracking us, because we haven't left much of a physical trail. The mutts' noses will be abnormally keen, but possibly by the time we spent slogging through the water and the drain pipes, we might help to throw them. Outside the hum of the room, the hissing becomes more distinct, but it's also possible to get a better sense of the Mutt's locations. They're behind us, still a far distance. Snow probably had them released underground, nearly at the place where he found Boggs's body. Theoretically, that should have given them a good lead, although they're certainly faster than we are. My mind wanders to the wolf-like creatures in the arena, the monkeys in the quarter quell, the monstrosities that I've witnessed on television over the years. I wonder what form these Mutts will take. Whatever Snow thinks will scare me the most. Pollux and I have worked out a plan for the next leg of our journey, and since it always leads away from the hissing, I see no way... Since it already leads away from the hissing, I see no reason to alter it. If we move swiftly, maybe we can reach Snow's mansion before the Mutts reach us, but there's a sloppiness that comes with speed. The poorly placed boot that results in a splash, the accidental clang of a gun against a pipe, even my own commands issued too loudly for distinction. Did she sneeze? If she did, I didn't hear it. Did you sneeze? She goes like this. Are you being silly pants? Yeah. Are you? Yeah? 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 Hi. Hi. Hi, pretty girl. Okay. We cover about 3 more blocks via an overflow pipe and section of neglected train track when the screams begin. They're thick and guttural, bouncing off the tunnel walls. Avoxes, Peeta says immediately. That's what Darius sounded like when they tortured him. The Mutts must have found them, says Cressida. So they're not just after Katniss, says League 1. They'll probably kill anyone. It's just that they won't stop until they get to her, Gale says. After his hours studying with Beetee, he's most likely right. And here I am again, with people dying because of me, friends, allies, complete strangers, losing their lives because I'm the Mockingjay. Let me go alone, lead them off. I'll transfer the hollow to Jackson, and the rest of you can finish the mission. No one is going to agree to that, says Jackson in exasperation. We're wasting time, says Finnick. Listen, Peeta whispers. The screams have stopped, and in their absence my name has rebounded, startling in its proximity. It's below as well as behind us now. Katniss. I nudge Pollux in the shoulder and we start to run. Trouble is, we had planned to descend to a lower level, but that's out now. When we come to the steps leading down, Pollux and I are scanning for a possible alternative on the hollow when I start gagging. Masks on, orders Jackson, but there's no need for masks. Everyone is breathing the same air. I'm the only one losing my stew because I'm the only one reacting to the odor. Drifting up from the stairwell, cutting through the sewage, it's roses. I begin to tremble. I swerve away from the smell and stumble right out into the transfer. Smooth, pastel-colored tiled streets, just like the ones above, but bordered with white brick walls instead of homes. A roadway where delivery vehicles can drive with ease without the congestion of the capital. Empty now, of course, of everything but us. I swing my bow up and blow the first pod up with an explosive arrow, which kills the nest of flesh-eating rats inside of it. And then I sprint for the next intersection, where I know one false step will cause the ground beneath our feet to disintegrate, feeding us to something labeled meat grinder. I shout a warning to the others to stay with me, and I plan for us to skirt around the corner and then to detonate the meat grinder, but another unmarked pod lays in wait. It happens silently. I would miss it entirely if Finnick didn't pull me to a stop. Katniss! I whip back around, arrow poised for a fight, but what can be done? 2 of Gale's arrows already lie useless beside the wide shaft of golden light that radiates from the ceiling to the floor. Inside, Masala is still as a statue, poised upon the ball of 1 foot, head tilted back, held captive by the beam. I can't tell if he's yelling, although his mouth is stretched wide. We watch, utterly helpless, as the flesh melts off his body like candle wax. Can't help him. Peeta starts shoving people forward. Can't. Amazingly, he's the only one still functioning enough to get us moving. I don't know why he's in control when he should be flipping out and bashing his brains in, but that could happen any second. At the pressure of his hands against my shoulder, I turn... Bless you. Bless you. Yeah, I forgot about that too. I turn away from the grisly thing that was Masala, and I make my feet go forward fast as they can, so that I barely skid to a stop before the next intersection. A spray of gunfire brings down a shower of plaster, and I jerk my head from side to side looking for the pod before I turn and see a squad of peacekeepers pounding down the transfer toward us. Yeah, maybe you did, Becca. Bless you. With the meat grinder pod blocking our way, there's nothing left to do but fire back. They outnumber us 2 to 1, and we've still got 6 original members of the Star Squad who aren't trying to run and shoot at the same time. Fish in a barrel, I think. As the blossoms of red stain their white uniforms, 3/4 of them are drowned and dead when more begin to pour in from the sides of the tunnel. The same one that I flung myself through to get away from the smell from the... Wait a second. Those aren't peacekeepers. They're white, 4-limbed, about the size of full-grown humans, and that's where the comparisons stop. They're naked, with long reptilian tails, arched back, and heads that jut forward. They swarm over the peacekeepers, living and dead, and clamp... I know, it's crazy, right? Clamp onto their necks with their mouths, and they rip off their helmeted heads. Apparently, having a capital pedigree is useless as it was in 13. It seems to take only seconds before the peacekeepers are decapitated. The mutts fall to their bellies and skitter towards us on all fours. This way, I shout, hugging the walls, making sharp rights to avoid the pod. When everyone joins me, I fire into the intersection and the meat grinder activates. Huge mechanical teeth burst through the streets and chew the tile to dust. That should make it impossible for the mutts to follow us, but I don't know. I know, it's pretty awful, huh, honey? The monkey mutts I've encountered could leap pretty far. The hissing burns my ears, and it reeks of roses as the walls spin. I grab Pollux's arm. Forget the mission. What's the quickest way to get above ground? No, they won't follow you, my sweet baby. No, no, no. No, no, no. No, no. Should Mommy have a sip of coffee? What do you think? Coffee? Coffee? Yeah? Do you want Jungly Tales? You want your Jungly Tales book? Here you go. Jungly Tales. There's no time for checking the hollow. We follow Pollux for about 10 yards along the transfer and go through the doorway. I'm aware of the tile changing to concrete, and I crawl through it. It's tight. The stinking pipe I crawl through the stinking pipe onto a ledge about 1 foot wide. We're in the main sewer. A yard below, a poisonous brew of humans, garbage, and chemicals run off bubbles beside us. Parts of the surface are on fire, and others emit evil-looking clouds of vapor. One look tells you that if you fall in, you're never coming out. Moving as quickly as we dare on the slippery ledges, we make our way to a narrow bridge and cross it. In an alcove at the far side, Pollux smacks a ladder with his hand and points up the shaft. This is it. This is our way out. A quick glance at our party tells me something's off. Wait, where are Jackson and League One? They stayed at the grinder to hold the mutts back, says Holmes. What? I'm lunging back off of the bridge, willing to leave no one to those monsters when he yanks me back. Don't waste their lives, Katniss. It's too late for them. Look. Holmes nods to the pipe where the mutts are slithering onto the ledge. Stand back, shouts Gale. With his explosive-tipped arrows, he rips the far side of the bridge from its foundation, and the rest sinks into the bubbles just as the mutts reach it. For the first time, I get a good look at them. There's a mix of human and lizard and who knows what else. White, tight reptilian skin is smeared with gore, clawed hands and feet. Their faces are a mess, conflicting with features, hissing, shrieking my name now as their bodies contort in rage. They're lashing out with tails and claws, taking huge chunks of one another, or their own bodies with wide, slathered mouths driven mad in their need to destroy me. My scent must be as evocative to them as theirs is to me. More so, because despite its toxicity, the mutts begin to throw themselves into the foul sewer. Along our bank, everyone opens fire. I choose my arrows without discretion, sending arrowheads of fire and explosives into the mutt's body. They're mortal, but only just. No natural thing could keep coming with 24 bullets in it. Yes, we can eventually kill them, only there are so many, the endless supply pouring from the pipe, not even hesitating to take on the sewage. But it's not their numbers that makes my hands shake so. No mutt is good. All are meant to damage you. Some take your life like the monkeys, others take your reason like the tracker jackers. However, the true atrocities, the most frightening thing, incorporates a perverse psychology twisting the design to terrify the victim. The sight of the wolf mutts with the dead tribute's eyes, the sound of the jabberjays replicating Prim's tortured screams, the smell of Snow's roses are mixed with the victim's blood. It's carried across the sewer, cutting through even the foulness here. They make my heart run wild. My skin turns to ice. My lungs are unable to suck in its air. It's as if Snow is breathing right in my face, telling me that it's time to die. The others are shouting at me, but I can't seem to respond. Strong arms lift me as I blast the head off of a mutt whose claws have just grazed my ankle, and I'm slammed into the ladder, hands shoving against the rungs, ordered to climb. My wooden, puppet-like limbs obey. Movement slows me, bringing me back to my senses, and I detect only one person above me, Pollux. PETA and Cressida are below me, and we reach the platform and switch to a second ladder. Rungs are slick with sweat and mildew. And at the next platform, my head has cleared. You want up? You want out? Yeah, you don't want mommy to read that. You want out? You want out? You want out, my angel? You do? You want out? Or do you want a chewy? You want out or you want something you can chew? How about this? Is that nice? Is that nice? This needs to stay under your chin because you're drooly. Here you go. Here, hold it with your hand. Hold it with your hand. Yeah, you can do it. I know you can. Hold it with your hands. There you go. Good job. Yeah, you can chew on that. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. It's as if Snow's breathing right into my face, telling me it's time to die. The others are shouting at me, but I can't seem to respond. Strong arms lift me as... Oh, I already said that. Sorry, you guys. We switch to a second ladder, rungs slick with sweat and mildew, and at the next platform, my head is cleared and the reality of what's happening hits me. I begin frantically pulling people off the ladder. PETA, Cressida, that's it. What have I done? Have I abandoned the others too? I'm scrambling back down the ladder now when one of my boots kicks someone. Climb! Gale barks at me. I'm back up now, hauling him in, peering into the gloom for more. No! Gale turns to face him and shakes his head. Uniform shredded, gaping wound in the side of his neck. There's a human cry from below. Someone's still alive, I plead. No, Katniss, they're not coming, says Gale. Only mutts are coming. Unable to accept it, I shine the light from Cressida's gun down the shaft, and far below I can just make out Finnick, struggling to hang on as 3 mutts tear at him. As one yanks back his head to take the death bite, something bizarre happens. It's as if I'm Finnick, watching the images of my life flash by. Oh, God. We love Finnick. That's sad, huh, honey? I'll get you out. I'll get you out. Come on. You want out? You want out, my sweet angel? We say bye-bye to Finnick. We loved Finnick. Aw. R.I.P. Finnick. R.I.P. Finnick. Yeah. Yeah. I forgot too, Jen. I forgot too. Yeah. I know. She is. She's a great communicator. What's the matter, my angel? You want food? Are you a hungry girl? I know. Annie just got married. It's so sad. Poor Annie's really gonna lose it now, huh? Yeah. Are you hungry? Are you hungry? Yeah. Yeah, she needs Auntie Becca snuggles, huh? Yeah. You're hungry. Are you hungry, my angel? Yeah. Hungry girl. Hungry girl. Oh, really? I haven't seen the movies in, gosh, I don't know how long. Not that part, honey. This part. Watching images of my life flash by, the mast of a boat, a silver parachute, Mags laughing, a pink sky, Beatty's trident, Annie in her wedding dress, waves breaking over rocks, and then it's over. I slide the hollow from my belt and choke out, nightlock, nightlock, nightlock. Release it, hunch against the wall with the others as the explosion of rocks on the platform and bits of mutt and human flesh shoot out of the pipe and shower over us. There's a clank as Pollux slams a cover over the pipe and locks it in place. Pollux, Gale, Cressida, Peta, and me. We're all that's left. Later, the human feelings will come, but right now I'm only conscious of the animal need to keep the remnants of our band alive. We can't stop here, I say. There's a clank, Someone comes up with a bandage and we tie it around Gale's neck and we get him to his feet. Only one figure stays huddled against the wall. Peta, I say, and there's no response. Has he blacked out? Crouched in front of him, pulling his cuffs from his face, I say, Peta! His eyes are like black pools, and the pupils are so dilated that the blue irises have all but vanished. The muscles in his wrist are as hard as metal. Leave me, he whispers. I can't. Yes, you can, I tell him, and Peta shakes his head. I'm losing it. I'll go mad just like them, like the mutts, like the rabid beasts bent on ripping out my throat. And here, finally here in this place, in this circumstance, I really will have to kill him. Snow will win. Hot, bitter hatred courses through me. Snow has already won too much today. It's a long shot. It's suicide maybe, but I do the only thing that I can think of. So I lean in and I kiss Peta full on the mouth. His whole body starts shuddering and I keep my lips pressed to his until I have to come up for air. My hand slides up his wrist to clasp his hands. Don't let him take you from me. Peta's panting hard as he fights the nightmares raging in his head. No, I don't want to. I clench his hands to the point of pain. Stay with me, I say. And his pupils contract to pinpoints and dilate again rapidly and then return to something resembling normalcy. Always, he murmurs. I help Peta up and I address Pollux. How far is it to the street? He indicates just above us, and I climb the last ladder and I push open the lid to someone's utility room. I'm rising to my feet when a woman throws open the door. She's wearing a bright turquoise silk robe embroidered with exotic birds. Her magenta hair is fluffed up like a cloud and decorated with gilded butterflies. Grease from half-eaten sausage smears her lipstick. There's an expression on her face that she recognizes me. She opens her mouth to call for help, and without hesitation, I shoot her through the heart. Damn, that's cold. Whoa, that's cold. But you gotta do what you gotta do, am I right? Yikesy, yikesy. Wow, that is cold. That is cold without hesitation. Without hesitation. Can you believe that? Yeah, crazy times. Sheesh. Okay, well, that was quite the ending to a chapter, am I right? All right, so we have Roll for Slime After Dark tonight. I didn't post the agenda yesterday because I commented to a couple people asking if they wanted to go tonight because they had commented for tomorrow, but we only had 3 people for tonight, so I'm trying to get more people onto tonight, and then tomorrow we can do a regular Slime Live or something. So I'm gonna go check on those, and then I'll get the agenda posted as soon as I do that. I know, right? Roll for Slime is at 6 tonight because it's an After Dark one, Avery, so it'll be at 6 p.m. tonight. And did you get me for both? Jamie, I didn't see your comment for that date, I don't think, but let's touch base and I'm trying to get everyone into today if we can, because there were only 3 people for today. So I want to try to combine tomorrow and today so we can just have one day. So if you need to, we'll do 2 in one day or whatever. But I'm gonna go back and check on those, get the agenda up, and yeah, Comp did message. Okay, great, perfect. I'll go back and check. The list is on the computer, so I can't remember off the top of my head, but that doesn't mean it's not on there. And we will get everybody done. How do we watch Roll for Slime After Dark? You have to be a Patreon member for that because I have to age check people. It does appear that you are over 18, so you would be welcome to join. And then I post a link. Yeah, actually, don't DM again because it actually sends people to the bottom if you message again, because it goes in order of date, so the oldest go first. So don't worry about DMing, but you can comment again, and the comments do go to the top. So I'll go ahead and check on those, but don't worry. What I do is I Control F the dates. So if you wrote the 15th, I'll find it. So don't worry about that. Yeah, it's a good reason to join Patreon. It's just $3, so it's an easy in for most people, and you get a lot of other benefits too. For the $3 isn't just that. AD, is it appropriate for me? Yes, Emma. Unfortunately, it is probably for another good decade, Sweet Pea. Yeah, but in a decade, you're welcome to join us if I'm still doing this. Who knows, right? All right. So I will see you all tonight for that. And what else? That's pretty much the whole kit and caboodle. More slimes are going to be mailed today, of course. And well, Isabella has not 10 years to go, just a couple of years. We will be, I'm hoping to do a regular slime live tomorrow. Yes, class was rescheduled. Yes, I let my kids watch almost anything, Sasha, but not that. Yes, that's correct. That's why it's locked, because I don't want the kids accidentally stumbling upon it. Because you know how that goes. Because everything else I do is totally kid friendly, So that is the whole kit and caboodle. All right, I am a human, proving it now. All right, I will see you all tonight. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.